Okay, we're live. I think we are live. Good morning and happy Wednesday. My name is Keri Mandell, and this is my assistant today, Rachel.
Hi.
I am the owner of Empower Yoga over in Ewing, New Jersey. We're located right by the College of New Jersey, and today we're excited to be here as part of Headsweats and keeping it cool during this time. In quarantine. So we're actually quarantined in Princeton, but we're excited to be here and work out with you a little bit this morning. Let me tell you a little bit about myself first. So I've been Headsweats ambassador for a few months now. Very proud to be part of this amazing company. Grateful for the opportunity. And I am an ultra runner. I just completed the World Marathon Challenge, which is 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. So in addition to running, and I use yoga a lot to help with that. And I want to share a little bit about, my experience running and yoga with you today. So for me, running and yoga have always gone hand in hand. A lot of people ask me how I'm able to do a lot of the things that I do, and my answer is always yoga. Yoga helps with strength, mobility, flexibility, stability. It's a great way for your body and your mind. It helps with those challenging moments, especially during those long runs when you want to give up, just about finding your breath and tuning in and being present. So yoga is an amazing thing, and I really enjoy doing yoga with athletes and introducing yoga to athletes. So today I have a little flow plan for you. We're going to focus a lot on the glutes and hips and hamstrings. A lot of things that we use as runners. So hopefully you'll have some fun, you'll get a good stretch in, you'll learn a little bit, and on a positive, this video will be saved so you can always kind of refer back to it. So if you feel like you went out after one of your long runs, you want a good stretch, please feel free to come back and visit us and check out this video and go through some of the movements. You can also find live stream classes that my yoga studio and I are offering. It's empoweryoganj.com. Click on the schedule button, and we have several classes throughout the day, family friendly, and great for all levels. So with yoga, the nice thing is there's always ways to modify poses to support your practice, or even enhance poses to kind of deepen your practice a little bit more. So depending on how you're feeling or what's going on in your body. Today I'll try to offer some suggestions. Now I know at home you might not have blocks and stuff, but you can always use pillows or soup cans, anything hard, even water bottle, if you need to lean or use something for support. You also might want to grab a towel. If you have it handy, take a hold of it. We're going to do some hamstring stretches, and if you don't have a yoga strap, a towel can be a great prop to use. So don't be afraid of props, they're excellent. And what else?
I think that's all. Questions will be answered at the end.
Yes, thank you. So any of your questions, I'm not sure who's really currently on right now or what's happening, but I will do my best to go through, answer any questions you have. So be sure to type them, and I will get back to you at the end of our little broadcast here. So that being said, let's get started. I want you to start on your mat. Come onto your back and find Supta Baddha Konasana. So Rich is going to demonstrate. So if you're not really sure what I'm talking about, feel free to look at her. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together, and you're going to allow your knees to splay out to the side. Now, if your hips are really tight, you might want to take your blocks or something, maybe pillows, and you might want to place them under your knees for a little extra support. Maybe bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, or you can bring your arms by your sides, palms facing the ceiling. Palms facing the ceiling if you need more energy. Palms down if you want to be more grounded. So kind of think about your mood. So when we ever start most of our yoga classes, we start in kind of a grounding position. And that purpose of that is just to kind of help us tune in, just to kind of let go of anything that's happened prior and really become present in this moment. So I want you to start just taking a few breaths. Maybe close your eyes and just start to notice the rise and fall of your chest, your inhales and your exhales. And just allow yourself to think about melting into the mat. Letting go of your worries. Letting go of stress. Anything that you might be feeling. And for the next 30 minutes, I want you to just truly be present right here and right now. Know that in this moment is exactly where you're meant to be. And all that other stuff, we can come back to it later. So really take the time to just spend this time with yourself. So taking just a few more breaths here. In yoga, we call ujjayi breath. We cultivate this breath, which is, there's a slight restriction to the back of your throat so that your breath becomes audible. You want to close your lips, maybe bring your tongue up, and I want you to think about if you were going to fog up a mirror, right? Without releasing the breath through the mouth, I want you to start to take some inhales and exhales through your nose and listen. It's kind of like makes this ocean sound. So if that's something that you're comfortable with, give it a try. If you've never done it before, give it a try. And if you've experienced with ujjayi breath, then maybe start to cultivate that or create that breath now. It's a very kind of soothing breath, and it allows us to and supports us throughout our entire yoga practice. So it's something that we do quite often. So I want you to take 3 more deep breaths here. Last 2. And last 1. Now, if you have props into your knees, remove them off to the side, and then hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Love yourself a little bit. Now, with the left leg holding in, extend your right leg long. I want your heel on the earth and your toes facing the ceiling. Now, this right leg is active. Now, this should get a nice little psoas stretch, right? And the psoas is that muscle that comes up from the hip and comes down the front of the leg. So that's a really nice thing, nice way to stretch it. Now notice if your right hip starts to pop up or something. If you need to, press your right hand onto your leg to help ground it, that's okay. Now start to extend your leg. Now this is where if you want to use the towel, Rachel will grab that for you. You might want to grab it. And you want to straighten your leg as much as you can. And just think about drawing it into your chest. So you're going to get this nice stretch in the back of your hamstrings. Notice if that other leg starts to pop up and think about keeping it grounded. Keep your shoulders on the mat and just breathe here. Now with the towel in your left hand, start to open your leg out to the left a little bit. Now notice what happens to that right hip. Did it pop up? Place your hand down and continue to breathe. Especially in some of these challenging moments where things get a little intense, that's when you really want to focus on your breath, right? And with each exhale, can you go a little bit deeper? Can you open your leg up a little bit more? Can you feel this stretch just a little bit further? As you inhale, you'll bring your leg back through center. You'll bring the leg into your right hand, or maybe grab a hold of that towel and twist over to the right. So now we're taking this nice little spinal twist. Your left arm can extend out to the left. Gaze to the ceiling or towards the left. Eyes are open or closed, your choice. And you're just continuing to breathe here. On your next breath, inhale, bring your legs back through center. Release the strap or towel. Release the leg. Bring it to the mat and we'll shake it out. And then we'll switch to the other side. So you'll grab your right knee in. So we'll go for that psoas stretch first. Now notice your left leg is straight, your heel is on the earth, and your left toe is flexed. You're breathing here and you're feeling the stretch. Take a few more breaths. And when you're ready, start to extend your left leg. Grab a hold of that towel again. So feel this nice hamstring stretch on the left. Breathe. Then start to draw your leg closer into the belly. Now your degree, and be mindful of that. And there's a slight bend in the knee, that's okay too. Just notice where you are today. The beautiful thing about yoga, it's a practice. And every day is slightly different. And every day we have the opportunity to discover something unique and cool about ourselves. Maybe do something that we weren't able to do yesterday. So it's celebrating those small little moments. Bring your leg into your right hand and extend it out towards the side. Notice that that left hip pops up. Place your hand on your hip. Breathe here. Just find the opening, enjoying the stretch. And then as you inhale, bring your leg back through center. We'll switch sides as Rachel grabs the rag or towel. Brings it to her left hand. Her right arm tees out to the side. Now this arm can be straight or goalpost, so yogi's choice what feels better, but keep your shoulders on pressing into the mat. Breathe here for this spinal twist. Take one more inhale and exhale. And your next breath, bring it back through center, release the leg. And then maybe you can extend the leg down and shake it out a little bit. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself another little hug here. Now set up for a bridge pose. Plant your feet. Now you want to try to maybe graze your heels with your fingertips. So if you need to, now this is just kind of a suggestion. What we're really looking for is that our knees are stacked over our ankles. So depending on how long your arms are or short your arms are, that might not be a great cue. But maybe take a peek and just kind of see where your ankles are. Now on an inhale, you're gonna start to lift your hips up. Now we're not really arching the back. Now a lot of bridge poses or wheel poses are like back bends, but for this purpose, we really wanna think about squeezing the glutes. If you have a block handy to intensify this, you can bring a block between your thighs. Think about wrapping your thighs around the block, squeezing everything into midline, and really starting to activate the glutes here. Now as runners, I don't know about you, but I do a ton of like glute bridges, even one-legged, just to kind of strengthen. We're very quad dominant, so we really need to work on our butt. So this is nice too. The other option is if you want a little support, you can always slide a block into your sacrum and then release down and have a little bit of support for you, okay? So take another few breaths here in your bridge. Now an extra little challenge, bring your hands up overhead. Take a hold of your left hand to the finger break and draw your fingertips back. So really stretch into the palm and feel the stretch down the forearms. Give Rachel a little massage here. Now notice what happens. Did your butt start to sag? Can you squeeze and lift up a little bit higher? Switch to the other wrist. So in our daily life, we do a lot of work with our wrists. We're typing, we're texting. So show yourself a little bit of love. Just stretch it out a little bit. And then release your hands by your side. If you're in a supported bridge, release it. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, slowly lower upper, middle, and lower back to the mat. Good. We won't make you do another bridge, but take a moment here, just breathe. Maybe windshield wiper your knees side to side. Then take your left leg, cross it over your right leg in a figure 4 stretch. Really start to flex your left foot and open up your left knee. You should feel this opening in the hip. This could be option 1. Option 2, maybe you start to lift your leg off the floor so that your right shin is parallel to the earth. To get even deeper, bring your hands around your right thigh, draw it into your chest, and to even intensify and open up the hip a little bit more, take your left hand and gently nudge your left knee away from you. If you're by a wall, keeping your foot on a wall too can add some extra little support or oomph to this pose. You're just gonna breathe here. So this is a nice figure 4 stretch, great stretch for the hips. Take another breath. Now I want you to release your left, or bring your right foot back to the earth, release your left leg, windshield wiper your feet side to side. And then pause back here. And we'll find figure 4 on the other side. So take your right leg, cross it over your left. Stay here, flex this right foot. This helps protect the knee and activates a little bit. Maybe lift the left leg, grab behind your left leg, breathe here. Your left shin is parallel to the floor, your foot is flexed and you're squeezing. Maybe you take that right hand and gently nudge the knee away from you to get a little bit deeper. And you're continuing to breathe here, just noticing your breath. We hold a lot of stress and tension in our hips, so a lot of times when we start to open the hips, and even as we flow a little bit more through some of the other poses or postures, you might start to have some sensations or feelings might start to come up, and that's totally natural because you're releasing some of that. So the nice thing about yoga is you think about releasing some of that stuck energy that we're holding on to, some of that negativity. So imagine it just kind of leaving the body. Take another breath. Bring your left foot down, release your right foot down to the earth, windshield wiper side to side. Now, widen your feet so they're mat width distance apart. Now this confuses most people, so try to listen carefully and try to kind of notice. With your feet mat width distance apart, I want you to drop your legs to the left. Good, that's step 1. This is gonna get into our hip flexors. Now take your left heel. So I want you to notice something about Rachel's legs. Her hip and her knee are in line, the right leg, right? Now she's gonna take her left heel and she's gonna bring it on top of her right knee, and she's gonna gently think about drawing the right knee to the mat. This kind of creates this nice opening right here. But in order to really get the stretch and to really feel it, you want to make sure that your hip and knee are in line, right? So really take a few breaths here. This is nice. Feel that, Rach?
So good.
So good.
So good.
Good. And then we'll release, come back. If you need to windshield wiper again, you can do that. What feels kind of nice. And now we'll drop our legs to the right. Now just check in on this side. Is your right, or yeah, left hip, this is your left hip, right? Left leg and knee are in line. Take your right heel, press your left knee into the earth, and just feel this nice little opening here. Think about drawing it down, nothing too intense because you want to make sure that you're not putting too much pressure on the joint and you're hurting yourself, but you really want to get this nice opening in the hip flexor. Take another breath. And then bring it back through center, release your right leg, windshield wiper side to side. From here, hug your knees into your chest. I want you to rock and roll up and down your spine. We'll make our way to a tabletop position. So for tabletop, we're looking for a flat back, spine long. Your shoulders are going to be over your wrists and your hips are going to be over your knees, right? On an inhale, belly is going to drop towards the floor and the crown of the head is going to reach up towards the ceiling. This is our cow pose. Just take a moment here. I want you to think about pressing the ground away, drawing your shoulder blades down. On an exhale, round your back for cat. So think about drawing your belly button in, press the ground, puffing up. So there's a nice doming action in the back of the body. Inhale for cow pose, belly drops, chest lifts, shoulders drop down. Exhale for cat pose, round the spine. Now take a few more just like this. And then maybe add some creative movement. A lot of times you might want to, maybe wag your tail side to side, or if you want to come into some little hip circles. So rotating back and forward. Nice work, Rachel. Good job. And then pause back at center. Take a breath here. Inhale. And as you exhale, curl your toes. Set up for your first downward facing dog. Now in yoga, downward dog can be a resting pose for us, in addition to child's pose, which is the most common kind of resting pose. What's really important, we're in this inverted V, and downward dog, well, while it's a resting pose, is actually extremely active. So a lot of times what starts to happen is that people will start to, oh my goodness, dump into their shoulders like Rachel is demonstrating. This is not what we want to do. I want you to think about drawing your ribs in, shift forward a little bit more, keeping your shoulders drawing down your back, engaged, plug them back. With the core engaged and the ribs drawing in, this is the type of down dog that we want to look for. Now she is pretty flexible and her heels can go to the floor. Yours don't have to. In fact, they probably won't, and that's okay. Especially as runners, we're pretty tight. So if you can't get your heels, that's okay. You're just on your toes and your heels are lifted. Start to walk out your dog a little bit. Dropping one heel and then the other as you bend your leg, feeling a stretch. It's really nice. And then pause here in your downward facing dog. Just take a few moments. Just kind of notice how you're feeling. Notice what happened to your breath. Are you breathing? Now take an inhale. I want you to extend your left leg towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, bring your left foot between your hands. We'll find a low lunge. So drop your back knee. Keep your toes tucked, actually. Good. So here you are in low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Now blocks or your soup cans or whatever it might be available to your water bottles are going to be there. As you start to press into your low lunge, just take a moment, maybe bring your hands to blocks, maybe bend a little bit deeper, really feeling the stretch in the right hip flexor. Now the nice thing with the toe bent, this kind of helps protect your low back. You'll start to arch here a little bit. Try to keep your core engaged. Good. Take another breath, really bending, reaching and flexing that right hip. And then come back off a little bit. So come back to your low lunge so your shoulders are stacked over your hips. On an inhale, start to extend your arms up overhead, right? And then just start to notice. I want your pinky fingers drawing into one another and allow your shoulder blades to draw down your back. Now notice that there's an arch in your back. Rachel doesn't have one because she's stacked and pretty engaged. I want you to think about drawing your core in. We use our core a lot in yoga. Your core is what's going to support you and stabilize you throughout your practice, so it's really important to make sure that it's engaged. Take a breath in. Now as you exhale, half split, bring your hands to the blocks. Start to straighten your left leg. The nice thing about blocks versus maybe something else that you might have at home is that there's different heights. So you can get blocks very easily at like 5 and below. So you can choose different height variations. Now don't sink all the way back. Just with the back heel, toes are still pressing into the earth, heel is still lifted. Start to draw your butt back and just take a few breaths here. With each exhale, maybe you fold a little bit deeper. All right, good job. Now on an inhale, we'll rise back up, come back to that low lunge, rebend the left leg. Good. You can always bring your hands to your legs as well if you don't want to keep your arms up overhead. That's a variation. Another variation would be goalpost arms. Right? We want to keep our elbows shoulder height and we're squeezing our shoulder blades together. Take a breath in. As you exhale, find what we call an easy twist. So your right hand comes down inside of your left foot and your left arm starts to lift. Right? And you're twisting open towards that left leg. Notice your right shoulder. The tendency here is that it starts to collapse. Think about drawing your right shoulder down your back. Breathe here. Take an inhale and an exhale. And next breath, come into a modified side plank. You're gonna take your right leg and pivot. So it's kind of like a kickstand, and your left leg is gonna extend. I want your leg hip height. Good, breathe here. Start to bend this left leg and reach for the ankle if you can. Now, you could also use your towel here as well if you have a hard time, reaching for it, right? And then think about drawing your heel into your butt. This is a nice little quad stretch. Take another breath. Gently and carefully release the foot, release the towel, extend your left leg long. I want you to find a gate pose. You'll bring your left leg down onto the earth, and you're gonna lift your chest up. Arms are going to extend. Good. Flip your right palm, reverse, or add this little twist. So I want you to feel this nice side body stretch. Right? Take a breath in. As you exhale, make your way back to a modified side plank. Good. Inhale here. And as you exhale, drop your left knee. Tabletop position. Inhale for cow pose. Exhale for cat pose. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Come back to a neutral spine and press it back, downward facing dog. We'll come into the other side. On an inhale, right leg's gonna lift. Step your right foot forward. Find your low lunge on this side. Grab the blocks if you need to. Choose the height that works for you. Start to bend into that right leg. Feel the left hip flexor opening. Keep the core slightly engaged. A little slight back arch in the back is okay. That might feel nice. Good. And then come back to neutral. Inhale, arms will reach up overhead. Just check in. Make sure your shoulders are drawing down. Pinky fingers are turning in. Nice. Ribs are drawing in. Core is engaged. Good work. Take a breath in. As you exhale, find the half split on this side. Start to extend your right leg long. Think about dropping your left butt back to your heel. Breathe here. Start to fold over your right leg a little bit if you want. Find our half split. Nice little hamstring stretch. Good. On your next inhale, start to lift up, bend into your right leg, come back to your low lunge. Arms will stay at your leg or arms extend. Find your easy twist, left hand down, right hand lifts. And then just notice on this side, what's happening to your left shoulder. I want you to think about your left shoulder blade, scapula is sliding into like your back pockets, right? This is gonna support and stabilize you in your side plank, Vashisthasana. So come to your modified side plank variation, pivoting your left leg. So your left toes are like a kickstand, right leg is extended. Bend the right knee, take a hold of the leg for that quad stretch here. Rachel's very flexible. But if you need the towel, grab it, just feel the stretch. Extend the leg, come back to your modified side plank, inhale. As you exhale, gate pose, bring your right leg down. Come up to center, flip that front palm, reverse, adding this little side bend, opening through the left side body. Feel the stretch here. Take another breath. Come back to your modified side plank, planting your left hand down. Inhale. As you exhale, come back to your tabletop position. 2 more cat-cows. Inhale, belly drops, chest lifts, cow pose. Exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Come one more time. Why not? We'll make it 3. Good. When you're ready, you'll make your way back to your neutral spine, and we're going to come back to that downward facing dog. Just a little bit more. On an inhale here, we'll lift our left leg. As we exhale, we'll find a high crescent lunge this time. So we're just going to plant our foot between our hands. Inhale, arms rise. So with high crescent lunge, your back knee is lifted. If this doesn't feel good, go ahead and continue to drop your bottom knee. That's okay. And again, checking where your shoulders, where your wrists. Good. There's a slight bend in the knee, so you're not like hyperextending the leg. Take a breath here. Inhale. And as you exhale, open up warrior 2. So pivot so that your left heel is perpendicular to the arch of your back foot. Notice where your left knee is. This is a very strong pose. I want you to think about your left knee out to your left baby toe. Right? Think about tucking this left hip under, shoulders are drawing down your back, and then your front arm is the same height as your back arm. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. But stay bent in this left leg. Notice what happens. It usually starts to straighten. So you have to really be honest with yourself what's happening. Feel the strength in the body. Take a breath in. As you exhale, warrior variation, left forearm, left thigh, right hand up overhead. So option, if you have a block or anything, you can always bring your left hand down to a block. To get a little bit more of a shoulder stretch if you want, you can bring your top hand behind your back, reach for that hip crease, allow your right shoulder to draw down, opening up the chest a little bit here, remembering to breathe. Where's your breath? Take another inhale here and exhale. On your inhale, come back through warrior two. Use that core to help you lift up. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Exhale, lizard lunge. Cartwheel your hands inside of your left foot. Pivot so you're back on your right toes. Now this is perfect. You can stay right here. You can also drop your back knee, uncurl your back toes. You can also come down to your forearms, and you can also maybe come onto a block or a pillow, bringing resting your forearms there. If you want, you can even bring your third eye to a block as well. Great hip opener. This kind of gets the inner hip. If you want to start to open up the outer hip, you'll start to roll on the outside edge of your left foot as your left knee kind of draws out to the side. You're breathing here. Nice work. And then start to come off your forearms. So start to walk up a little bit. Take your left leg and bring it all the way to the edge of your mat, or to the right side of your mat, for half pigeon. Now the tendency here in half pigeon is a lot of us want to collapse on the left side. Show us, Rachel, what that looks like. When you want to be mindful of that. So that's when a pillow, lift up, might be really nice. The idea and the object here is to kind of square your hips, right? This could be enough. You can come up onto your hands, or you can start to fold forward a little bit. Find what we call a sleeping pigeon, coming onto your forearms. She's going to rest her third eye on a block. Good. Now, notice where your back toes are, if they're externally rotated or internally rotated. The goal here is to try to keep your toes facing back so that your heel and hip are in alignment. You'll take a few breaths here. Now, this is a pose where you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. When I talked earlier about like hip openers, this is a pretty intense hip opener. What's important, left foot, flex, this protects your knee. If you have any kind of knee pain whatsoever, come onto your back and you can do the figure four that we did previously. Now, a lot of times, we don't ever want to be in pain. Now, things will be uncomfortable, and it's important to be able to recognize and notice the difference. If things are uncomfortable, use your breath and try to help push through that comfort, right? One of my favorite quotes is, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And in fact, if you were to visit my yoga studio in New Jersey, you would see it on the wall. And I try to live my life by that every day. I try to do something every day that challenges me, that pushes me to be better, to be stronger than I was the day before. So I kind of love that feeling of discomfort because I like to see how much I can do and what I'm capable of. So don't be afraid of a little being uncomfortable, right? And a lot of that kind of trains us during these times too. The beauty about yoga, take another breath here as I continue to talk, is that it trains your mind just like running. You know, it teaches you to keep moving forward, one foot in front of the other, even during these difficult times. So even no matter what's happening on the world, that things are uncomfortable and not necessarily how we planned, what we practice and how we cultivate love and acceptance on our mat can kind of transfer off the mat as well. Good. Now start to lift up onto your hands. Come back up. Take a breath here. Inhale. As you exhale, press it back, downward facing dog. Start to lift your hips. If you want to extend your left leg back, you can do any little hip circles. That might feel nice. And we'll go on to the other side before we kind of finish up our little sequence here. Inhale, right leg's going to lift. As you exhale, we'll find high crescent lunge on this side. Arms lift up. So come to your strong crescent lunge. Bending into your right knee, shoulders are drawing down. Just notice if you need to drop the back knee, go for it. If there's pain in the back knee when you drop it too, you can always use a pillow or fold up your towel a little bit as well. I should have mentioned that earlier. But all little things that you might be able to do to get a little bit, more comfortable. We don't want pain in the knee, certainly not. Take a breath here. When you're ready, open up warrior two. So you'll inhale, your chest open up, and just check in. Is your right knee over your right ankle? Is your heel in line or perpendicular to the arch of your back foot? Rachel's looking great. She's gonna flip her front palm, reverse warrior, get this nice side body stretch. Notice what happens. This happens to everybody. This knee starts to straighten, so you really wanna think about bending in, wrapping this right hip under. Now this is a hard pose. I know, just breathe. You've got this. Come to your warrior variation, left forearm, left thigh. Right hand will come up overhead. You can also bring your right hand to a block if you'd like. You don't have to. And you can take your top arm, bring it behind your back, adding that half bind. Drawing your left shoulder back and down, breathe here. Now with control, rise back up, warrior two. Flip your front palm, reverse. Inhale. As you exhale, cartwheel your hands inside of your right leg. Find your lizard lunge. Keep the knee lifted or down. Drop to your forearms if you'd like. And just notice that one side is usually tighter than the other, and this could be your tighter side. So just kind of notice how it feels. Don't be so hard or frustrated with yourself. Just allow your body to just be where it's at and allow yourself to use your breath. If you want, you can bring your third eye back to a block or just hang out. If you would like to start really working on that outer hip, start to open up your right leg, rolling onto the outside edge of your right foot. You're breathing here. If you're on your forearms, come back onto your hands. Walk your right foot across the mat. Find your half pigeon on this side. Start to lower. And notice, are you dumping into your right hip? Do you need to grab that pillow again? Could be the pillow again, right?
Yeah.
Feels nice to hit the pillow, right?
Nice.
We'll flex the right toes. This will help protect your knee. And then we'll notice her toes. And gently rotating a little bit. We'll fix her. Good. She's strong. And you'll breathe here. Try to close your eyes. Notice if you're clenching your jaw or you're scrunching your face here. So just think about letting it go. So Rachel before was using American Cancer Society determination. I had the privilege of running the World Marathon Challenge to honor and support ACS. I love giving back, and I'm definitely do a lot of work with different charities. ACS happens to be one of my biggest charities. I lost my dad to cancer, so I've been doing a lot of fundraising for ACS. And I love that the name is determination, because I think about that all the time, just being determined to make a difference in the world, to challenge myself, to do better, to be better for myself and those around me. So that's a little ACS plug. I want to make sure that you're even on this side, so continue to breathe in your half pigeon. When you're ready, you'll start to press into your hands. You'll make your way back to your down dog. I'll remove this pillow for Rachel. Your hips come high. Maybe you take your right knee bend, open up the knee. Good. And now release your right foot to the mat. Come back to your down dog. From here, gaze forward, bend your knees. Step or hop or jump to the front, to the middle of your mat. Come onto your bottom. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll onto your back. Give yourself a little squeeze. Good. Nice work. So in the effort of time, I'm going to be conscious of your time today, this morning. Just give yourself a hug. Find a happy baby. So I want to grab the inside or outside edges of your feet. This is really nice. They call it happy baby or dead bug pose, but I like the term happy baby because, who wants to think about a dead bug, right? So just hold on for happy baby. You can rock a little bit. Or you could do a little ninja baby with one leg straight and then the other. Good. Nice. So come back to your happy baby. Release. And bring your feet back to the earth. And we're just going to do one more bridge pose. This helps kind of reset the hip. So we just did a lot of work in the hip. Grab that block again. Place it in between your thighs. Press your feet into the mat. Inhale. Start to lift your hips up. And just breathe for a little bit. Good. Keep that butt lifted. Squeeze the glutes. Take another breath here. Inhale. As you exhale, lower segmentally, upper, middle, and lower back. Remove the block. And just for a moment, we'll do a little inversion. This kind of helps just getting the blood flowing in a different direction. If you have a block or a pillow, place it underneath your bottom, sacrum, and then, is that going, Rach? You adjust it. We call it a waterfall position. You don't actually need a block if you don't want to, but it's kind of nice to elevate it a little bit using a block or pillow. You can just close your eyes here, arms by your side. Just gets the blood flowing. This also helps with if you have any bloating going on. So while I was doing the World Marathon Challenge, we were in 7 continents in 7 days, and we went through 16 different time zones. So the running itself actually wasn't the hard part. It was the air travel. So I had gotten a lot of swelling in my ankles, my legs, from all that just being up and down in the airplane. And this was the pose I kind of relied on throughout the entire trip. I found a little space in the back of the plane behind the last seat where I could put my legs up the wall and just stayed here for a very long time. This helped kind of calm me down, calm my nervous system, and also help with the swelling. So if you ever find yourself in lots of travel, this is a good place to be. So just take a few more breaths. Now to really start to feel the effect of this and to help with that and really feel the inversion in the body, you want to spend a few minutes here. Don't just like put your legs up for 5 seconds and say you're done. Try to stay for a little bit. And this is just kind of good throughout the day. Like if you just want to like stop and just put your legs up, just kind of calm yourself. If you're feeling a little stressed out, it's kind of a nice thing. Bring your legs up to a wall too is really, nice. When you're ready, lift your hips, you'll remove your block. Draw your knees into your chest and then extend them out in front of you. So your final resting pose, we always end yoga with a little shavasana. Just take a moment to extend your legs out. Allow your feet to kind of splay open to the side. Arms by your sides. Now palms face the ceiling. Again, I like to end with my palms facing the ceiling because I like to think about receiving new energy, new life, new love, new prana, new life force. So thinking about all that the universe has to offer. So with our practice, we try to get rid of anything that we don't need. And when we're done and we awaken and we arise again, we're awakened with new eyes, new possibilities. So just breathe. Show yourself just love and gratitude for all that you are and all that you do. And then draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Thank your body for its hard work, for all it does for you, not just today in this moment, but what it does for you each and every day. Love yourself. Rock and roll to a seated position. Kind of Sukhasana, easy seat. That could be with butt rooted on the mat. It could be sitting on a block or a pillow. Whatever's comfortable for you. Bring your hands together at heart center. Take a bow to yourself for making the time, for showing up. Take a bow to one another who have joined us on Facebook Live. And together we say, Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a little something and enjoyed yourself. If you're looking for more yoga classes, again, you can visit us at Empower Yoga. That's empoweryoganj.com. Click on the schedule button. We have Zoom classes throughout the day. You can get a little bit more of me and Rachel in my living room. Hopefully, quarantine won't last too much longer, but at least, even though we are social distancing, we're really just distancing. We're still being social, and it's still a great way to interact and to see each other and to get a good sweat on and to just be a part of the community around us. So I want you to know that you're not alone and that Headsweats is here for you. I think it's awesome that they have different content that they're creating. We had some other ambassadors yesterday doing workouts, different workouts, strength training, and things like that. So be sure to check us out every day. We'll have some different live things going on. Again, the video will save so you can replay it. I appreciate you all, and I appreciate Headsweats for giving me this opportunity to join you this Wednesday morning. I hope that everyone stays healthy and stays safe, and I will get back to your comments after this. So have a wonderful day, be well, and we'll see you soon. I'm going to turn off the camera.